Yeah, dog active.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's he, she called?
He,
What type of dog?
Bernard.
Bernard, great name.
He's a cocker spaniel.
Yeah, nice. Good dogs, though.
Yeah, he's...
Energy.
Yeah, to be fair, he's getting to that age now where he's mellowing out a bit, but he's a legend.
Nice. Where are you based?
I'm Cheshire, I am.
Whereabouts?
Nantwich, little town.
Yeah, nice. That's proper Cheshire. Some people say Cheshire to me and it's like Staley Bridge. I was like, that's not Cheshire, that's Tameside.
yeah.
Just because you got an SK postcode, it means nothing.
Yeah. I'm proper CW postcode.
Yeah, proper one. Nice around there.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, grew up around there, so... And we did look, I mean, obviously travelling all here, there and everywhere with the show. And, I mean, geographically, we could move near enough anywhere.
Yeah, you're in a good spot there, just north of the Midlands, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
Just south Manchester.
Just literally 5 minutes to get on the M6 and then I can near enough get anywhere up and down, not across. Getting across the country is a nightmare. But So yeah, I think we did consider moving somewhere else, but it just doesn't make sense really. Because you've got like parents nearby, look after the dog, look after the kids when they come. So just stay.
Plans for kids?
Maybe. Not in the micro economics of life.
I was talking to Sam on the last podcast. We were just talking about family on that. And for me, it really helped give me that North Star. It's so hard. It's so weird having kids.
No, I bet.
Because it's so hard. But then they go, like, I saw a meme on Facebook and it was something like, do you ever love something so much you can't wait for it to go to bed? And that's just so true. Like, you love it so much. You like, just go to bed and leave me alone. And then you sit on the couch just looking at pictures and videos of them.
Oh.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And you're so tired. But it really does, for me anyway, it really focused my mind. Like, I've got an ADHD brain anyway, so I'm very shiny penny. And it just really then focused what I wanted from life, I think. I was very scatty.
Yeah.
I still am to a certain extent, but I don't think that will ever go away because of it. No. But it really does focus you.
I bet. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews of kids.
No, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
It's a bit like life. I mean, 95% of the time it's shit and then 5% of the time it's good.
Honestly, they wind you up and then they'll just do something. So I've got two under two. So I'm a sucker for punishment. And the youngest is our girl. And she was a nightmare. As soon as she was born, she had a milk allergy and stuff. So she's not been great. But as soon as she smiles at you, just everything goes away. It's weird. Yeah. Oh, that's really soppy.
Get away with murder.
Yeah, honestly, she's going to be a problem. She's going to be a huge problem.
Well, she's not even like you, mate, then.
No, she's going to be worse than me, I can tell. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Tell us a little bit about the show.
Yeah, so the show is a national exhibition focused on SME property developers. We're essentially a platform. So 6 shows this year. We're a platform, community, an event that's focused on connecting good service providers, good developers, equally connecting the two between themselves as well. We provide it a free event, free platform. We bring some of the best speakers, in my opinion, in the industry, and we run that all year round. Nice. This year we've got Bristol next. Subject to when this episode comes out, 25th of March, Bristol is. Then with London, Southampton, Birmingham, Manchester and Leeds at the end of the year.
Nice. How many do you do across the country?
6 in total.
So is it literally one every 2 months or are some like close to each other?
Yeah, so it just varies really because obviously, the events calendar is pretty busy. So I make sure that we're not clashing with any other events within the sector. So we kind of fit in between. We go for a Wednesday, just feels like a nice day Wednesday does. So normally on a Wednesday. I don't think we've done any other day yet. Be a bad omen, I think, if I did.
And what's the scale of the exhibits?
In what sense?
So the shows, where are they at so we can get a scale? Are they in like a hotel waiting room or are they in the GMX?
Yeah. So we're probably the in-between. So we're at football stadiums usually. So Bristol's like Ashton Gate, London's Kia Oval, which is obviously cricket, Southampton St Mary's, Villa Park, Old Trafford, Royal Armouries. Say again.
Won't be going to that one. Move it to the Etihad or come.
Yeah, well, we were there, but they're a nightmare with security. So.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are, yeah. Yeah, really bad. But I understand why they do it. It's like there's no logic to it. It's like dealing with the banks. It's just like, why do you need that information? It's just like computer says no type mentality. But yeah, good venue in terms of getting us to where we needed to get to, and then we slightly outgrown it just based on how the floor plan works over there. Old Trafford's got a better floor plan.
How many people turn up in terms of attendees and then exhibitors?
So Manchester last year was our biggest event to date, and we had, I think, 43, 44, I can't remember now, exhibitors, over 40 exhibitors, and we had 560 attendees.
Nice. So what's the benefit to come into one of your events, would you say?
So I think I've set it up as a developer myself, and I try and make it how I would like it. And I'm quite difficult to please because I've been in this industry a long time, so you see a lot of crap in the industry, the property industry. So I set it up in a way that creates the maximum value, has the kind of ability to put you in front of the right individuals, the right speakers, the right service providers, down to the sort of nitty gritty of, turning certain businesses away because I didn't feel like they fit, or personalities didn't feel like they fit the kind of ethos of the show. So I'd really try my best to protect the brand and the integrity of those that are involved in the show. So really, I like to feel like it's a safe place to come to where you're actually going to get genuine, real value and information. And, people are going to be selling you stuff that you're going to either need, it's going to help you along, and it's not just going to be crap, a 20 grand mastermind session that you get no value from. You're going to meet genuine service providers, like yourself, that are going to, not that you're exhibiting yet, that are going to help you progress and move forwards as a property investor and developer.
Yeah. Because again, I was talking before to Sam about why I stopped going to networking events and stuff. And it's exactly what you just said there. You end up getting sold to by people you don't want to be sold to.
Yeah.
Just people just want to give you the business card. They've got no interest in. And you'll probably know it's the same people in the circuit that it's either the same people in the circuit or newbies that, no disrespect to them, everyone's got to start somewhere, right? But what do they say? What's that thing about selling? Find out what they want and sell them that. And I think people just turn up and just go, I'm going to give you a business card, I'm going to sell to you regardless of whether you want selling to or not.
Yeah, exactly.
You stood there and you get to the end of the conversation and you go, I didn't ask any questions then.
Yeah.
Didn't answer any questions.
They just spoke at you.
Yeah. And so that's why I stopped. So what was the inspiration behind you setting the show up?
So I'd had another business that I'd exited, sold to business partners, and I was at a bit of a crossroad and just sort of really finding that next thing. I basically, long story short, I attended a local exhibition. I knew the guy that set it up did a really good job of setting his first one up. Kind of thought, brilliant little business, a little pop-up show. Went away. I was just randomly driving in the car and I just thought, what is out there for like property developers? Surely there must be something in the same format. Obviously looked, you've got the usual, the sort of property investor show, landlord investment show. And then you got your like UK Reefs and MIPIM and, UK Construction Week. But there was nothing specifically for property developers. So I was like, well, surely that is an opportunity. Anyway, cut long story short, it was. Ran our first event in Stoke and sort of uptake was brilliant. Feedback was brilliant. So then went on to Birmingham, then went on to Manchester. And then really sort of last year was like the main focus, the full-time business of just growing it and getting it to where it is today.
Oh, nice. And you mentioned that you exited a business. What business did you exit?
It was just a sort of a finance brokerage.
Okay.
It was nothing, life-changing. It was just pretty much couldn't agree a direction to go with the other business partners. And I just said, well, buy me out and I'll go on to look for the next thing sort of thing. So it just didn't align to my sort of ambition. It was kind of a business that could make a good living from, but not grow it and scale it to a point where, you can either step back, sell it, do whatever you want for that sort of regard. So it just didn't align to my kind of end goal.
And for people that are listening that are kind of going through either, I don't know, they might have business partners or whatever, is there any lessons that you'd take from that kind of exit that you'd change in hindsight?
That's an interesting question. I think there isn't anything I would change. It was actually probably one of the best decisions I made. At the time, it was kind of, I think the lesson out of it is, and it's probably a bit of bias and reinforcement from the actual outcome of and the directional change that I took, which is don't be afraid to step away from something that doesn't align to where you want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, sunk cost fallacy, they get trapped in positions, jobs, businesses, business partnerships because they fear what's next, what's outside of that. And for me, I think I've never really had that sort of fear. It's always just been about what the mission was and where I can get to with that mission. And I think that is probably a skill that I had that I didn't realize I had and I utilized. I just backed myself and I had the confidence to say, actually, this is not working for me anymore. I need to move on. So I think that was probably, looking in hindsight, probably a good decision. Yeah. I imagine sometimes that, it doesn't pan out, but it's like, it's risk, and it risk reward, isn't it? It doesn't always pan out the way you think, but at least you tried.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That for me, that's why I set my business. That's why I went and did business myself, because it was that, well, at least I'd know. My biggest fear was dying without, I know it's a bit fucking deep.
That's the same as me though.
For me, my biggest fear now is dying without fulfilling my potential. And back then it was a similar thing, but it was dying without trying. Whereas now it's about, I want to build a £10 million business because I think I can. Mm-hmm. I think I've got the potential to.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many people maybe that listen to this, or just maybe people yourself, that you know that they're probably capable, like from an aptitude perspective, but they just haven't got the minerals to do it. Because it's not for everyone, is it?
No.
I would have made more money staying in my old job for the first 5 years of my journey. I hate that word, but for the first 5 years, I definitely would have made more money staying in my old job. But yeah, just on the lessons there, did you have a shareholders agreement and everything?
We did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you've done it the right way.
Yeah, so it was all amicable. I've still, the guys, both of them came to my wedding, and that was post exit. Yeah. So like everything was done amicably. I can't say a bad word about either of them. It was just that it didn't align to that business end goal.
Yeah. No, it's good. I obviously hear a few horror stories of people that have exited businesses, didn't have a shareholders agreement, things changed. And because things do change, right? Someone has kids, someone doesn't have kids, someone's got a change in direction. So yeah, it's a good job you had that set up. Absolutely. Was that just more luck than judgment?
That we had it set up.
Yeah.
No, it was judgment. We had it. That was one of the first things that we did, because it was actually an acquisition part of that sort of business growth to begin with. So Originally it was me and another business partner, and then we acquired a mortgage brokerage and took on another director as part of that acquisition. So we had it set up from day one in the right way.
Oh, interesting. Cool. What would you say is the biggest challenges in your business at the moment?
I think,
what can we help with?
I think it's just a multitude of different things, really. And I think it just comes down to mostly longevity, time in the market. I think you just have to keep doing the right things over a long period of time, and then you get the result that you want. But it's that kind of steadying the boat. The hardest thing for me is going through the levels of business. I get bored, and I'm sure you can relate to that, given your busy mind that you said. And I'm at that point now where I've got a lot of automations in the business. The kind of marketing works. It's like a machine. It's just churning out, content, got Facebook ads running, all the other stuff. And I find that quite boring. But actually that's where most success comes from. It's just consistently sitting in that boring zone for a long period of time. And I just really struggle with that mentally, because I'm of the mindset, and probably grew up in a household where, dad was constantly working, mum was constantly working, where you feel like if you're not, digging a hole all the time, you feel like you're not working hard enough, or I could be doing more. But actually it's just, and I know it myself, but it's just as important to take time to understand and have the perspective of where we actually dig in the hole. Is it in the right place? Which is probably, 60-70% of the job, really, is making sure that strategic partnerships are working, that you're aiming in the right direction, things are going well, the strategy works, the business plan's there. But it's not actually, an admin role where you're sending 50 emails an hour, or, you dig it, you're a tradesman, you're laying 10,000 bricks a week, or, whatever it is. So I really struggle with that personally.
No, something you said there really resonates with me. And because for me, if I had a spare 5 minutes, I'd fill the 5 minutes instead of just, sitting there and going, okay, let's have a think.
Yeah.
And I read something the other day that I think it was about Jeff Bezos, I think, or maybe Bill Gates. Maybe I shouldn't reference Bill Gates on this podcast after what's happened recently, but it was something like their day is they have no meetings. Like they literally have like one meeting and that's it. And then the rest of the day is they just have the freedom to think. And I think that's where the best decisions are made as a business owner, isn't it? Just having the time to just sit and think. So yeah, I think there's definitely something in what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Where do you want the business to get to? Like what scale do you want to get to?
So again, I'm an open book with that. I kind of have in my mind that I just want to keep growing and adding to the revenue and, growing the team strategically. But I don't really have, this is what the exit is. I'm building to sell, but I don't know whether I will sell because I'm already starting to add other bits to the ecosystem. So we just launched a buying club, which is essentially a buying group collective.
Oh, I saw this with Shane.
That's it. Yeah. So property developer buying club, and just utilizing the ecosystem that I've created within the show to launch this business. So at the minute, really, we're sort of in the pilot stage that we're getting, people on board and just asking loads of questions, how they're getting on, finding all the kind of pitfalls that, come with the processes and everything else with the business. So, but had I not had the show, I wouldn't have been able to start that business really, because I wouldn't have had the contacts to add the suppliers and the credibility and that sort of stuff. So it seemed there's so many more opportunities, and I'm the same as you. Like I'm shiny penny big time, but I think with age you learn to control that a bit more. So I'm always like, I can do that next, or I can do that next, and compiling this list of stuff that I can just keep adding to the show. But I think that the biggest thing for me is that I was similar to you. I want 100 million turn, 10 million turn. I want massive business, but I've kind of realised that boring is best, and my kind of objective really is just to focus on profit margin rather than the bigger numbers and not trying to grow too quick that I actually put everything at risk that I've already built, and really trying to build really slowly. And my success is so boring and so linear, and it would, if I showed you the roadmap that I've been on for the last 10, 11, nearly 12 years, and I said, this is what you have to go through to be. If you showed 18-year-old Scott, I'd say, you're fucking mad. I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
But that is just how my success has happened. It's just been a few, lucky pockets here and there, but 90% of the time it's just been boring, consistent, turning up, just doing the shit people aren't willing to do.
That's what business is, isn't it? We were talking before about NVIDIA. Like the guy who founded NVIDIA said that if he was to go back, knowing what he knows now, he wouldn't have done it. Yeah. And he's got all the money in the world, right? And he was like, I wouldn't have done it. Like, it's been absolutely awful. It's just what business is.
Yeah.
But I agree, boring is best. I came to that realization kind of this year that I had an exit strategy. And like you said, the exit might not be an exit. It's just being in that habit, right? And I set that at 5 years. And I was, on reflection at the start of this year, I was very aggressive last year, and that caused margin erosion. And that meant that I didn't take home as much as I think I deserve for the hours that I put in and the stress that I put myself under. Yeah. So this year I made a conscious decision to, okay, why am I putting so much pressure on myself? Let's double that timeline to 10 years. I'll still be 42. It's fine if I end up selling the business for 7 figures when I'm 42. It's still a great rest of the life, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's just,
I think you have to have that mentality in a way, though. I think in order to get started, you have to have that, like, I'm going to smash this. I thought I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 20, when I was 18 in 2 years, like fucking completely delusional. And if I think back, if I didn't have that mindset, then I probably wouldn't have got started, and I probably wouldn't have tried to do what I've done and save and sacrifice and do everything that has enabled me to get to where I am today. Mm-hmm. And I think as you go through that process, you start to realize the things that are important actually and I think I've said it on another podcast, but Steve Jobs, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. You can't connect them looking forwards. And it's only when you start to put things together in hindsight that you can start to realize actually having that balance, the yin and yang with everything, is super, super important. And I think the older you get, the more you experience, the more success you have, the more money you make, the more things that go wrong, you start to realize that you've got to just find that equilibrium with everything that you've got going on. Mm-hmm. And that's the difficult point, to find that, because I'm the same as you. I'm probably driven by fear of, losing everything I've created, fear of not reaching my full potential, fear of not providing for my family, fear of losing home, all these things. And that's what drives me forwards, really. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. Mm-hmm. But before that, when I had nothing to lose, it was the fear of, again, not getting to where I wanted to get to. And it's like a transformation and different levels that you go through and different mindsets. And you just got to have that in perspective.
Introspective. Yeah.
That's it. Where you look inwards all the time. You've got to have self-awareness to understand where you're at. And it's difficult.
Yeah. I think that attribute there, though, is, for me, one of the key indicators of someone successful, someone that's very self-aware, someone that's very self-reflective. My friends joke to me that I'm so self-reflective that I border on paranoia. Like, I'm just constantly thinking about, was that the right thing to do? What did he think? What was I doing there? Do you know what I mean? I think that's a very, very good habit to be in, and a good attribute for anyone that's successful, I think.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And it allows you to take responsibility for everything as well, and look inwards rather than blaming everyone else for your outcomes. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people, that just stay in the same place because it's everybody else's fault, bar theirs. Yeah. And if they just spent more time focusing on how they could impact and change things and focus on the things that they can control, then they just wouldn't be in the situations that they're in.
Take accountability.
Yeah.
And you'll be the same, like in my business, everything's my fault, even if it's not my fault, because there was something along the chain that I could have done better that would have prevented that. Yeah. And I think that's one of the key drivers to why I'll be a success. Yeah. And why anyone that I've ever met that's a success has that same attitude. Yeah. Like, okay, it wasn't my fault, but it was.
Because the book, it lands with you at the end of the day. 100%. And if you always look at the root cause, you hired the wrong person. Yeah. The spec wasn't right. Yeah. You didn't give the correct instructions. It all comes down with, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like we lost someone in January on it, one of our admin staff, and it would have been really easy for me to just go, it was her fault. What it's actually driven us to do is change CRM systems, because our ops system was clunky, build better SOPs, build a better recruitment process. So now we've incorporated like wealth dynamics, like personality traits into the interview. If you don't want to do that as part of the interview, then you're not right for us. But what I need is someone that's not going to lie to me in an interview, but someone that's going to yin to my yang and go, I'm carnage. I need someone that's admin focused, that's just very, very good at admin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I think it's situations like that, though, that enable you to get better. Like, we had a comment on YouTube. Someone had signed up to the show, and they were like, they put on the comments, never received a ticket, but receiving loads of email marketing campaigns now. So I was like, interesting comment. Like, someone that probably didn't accept responsibility would have been like, he's just miserable, just, moaning, cynical. Yeah, sort of thing. So I looked and went through sort of data and was like, Jesus, since over like 2 weeks, he'd been sent like 9 emails. And it's just based on our kind of nurture sequence, in a sense of, this is the history of the show, but then also webinars that we were running. And then another thing that was in there. And I was like, crikey, actually, yeah, that user experience is shocking. In my mind, though, when I've set all these emails up, I'm just thinking we're hopefully providing value for people. Yeah. But actually, when you just look at it in black and white, you're like, 9 emails in 2 weeks. That's outrageous. Yeah. So having accepted responsibility, that looking at it from the other person's perspective, actually, let's change that. Let's reduce it. How can we fix it? Move that email over there instead, and just really sort of trying to focus on stuff like that. And it's those situations that make the 1% difference that no one really sees, but matter massively.
What CRM system do you use?
So we use 2. We use Monday.com and GoHighLevel.
I hate Monday.
Do you?
I hate it. we're moving away from Monday because that was part of the ops problem.
Right.
I just find that because it's such a generalist platform, listen, it's powerful. I'm not denying it's not powerful. I just find the user experience really clunky. Like little bits like I'll click into, so we have a service column. I'll click into it. I'll type something in, but then I want to have another service there. I want to search for 2 services.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we do 2 services at the same time, for example. And it's just little bits like I'll type it and I can't just type the same thing again. I've then got to click into it, but then it clicks off. So then I've got to click back into it and type. It's just clunky.
Yeah.
So I hated it. So we've gone to like a specialist one. I've heard good things about GoHighLevel though.
Yeah, GoHighLevel is phenomenal. I mean, we use that for sales and marketing side. It's not so good for CRM process.
That's why you've got them linked.
Yeah. Our kind of Monday.com is like more event logistics and like finance ops and stuff like that. So, because it's basically like a glorified spreadsheet, isn't it? And we have like a few automations. So when someone fills out a logistics form, it goes into to Monday, stuff like that. So whereas GoHighLevel, the functionality it's not user friendly in that regard. But the sales and marketing is just phenomenal. You know, the automations, the workflows, the social media scheduling, do all the contracts and stuff like that through
Better than HubSpot.
I've truthfully never used HubSpot, but I know that GoHighLevel has taken a lot of market share from HubSpot, and it's purely based on price, I think.
Yeah.
GoHighLevel is $97 a month, and I think HubSpot is a lot more than that.
Yes, HubSpot is so good, HubSpot. But the issue with HubSpot is it's got a really good basic package where it's like 20 odd quid. So powerful for 20 odd quid. As soon as you then tip over to the next level, it goes to like 1,500 quid.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
So, you know, Ollie at Property Branding,
Yes.
he uses it and he's on the, I hope he doesn't mind me saying he's on the high version, but he swears by it. He's like well worth the money. Even at that high level. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced HubSpot, but GoHighLevel, I swear by. So I imagine they're pretty.
$97 a month sounds good. I didn't know it was that cheap, to be honest.
Yeah. It's really good value.
You've mentioned a couple of times about your shiny penny brain. Do you think you've got a bit of neurodivergence?
I would. It's difficult, isn't it? You know, we live in a world where it's easy to label yourself. I'm certainly wired differently. I think differently, look at the world differently. And I think you need that personally to be in business. People probably argue otherwise, but then it comes down to that longevity piece and contacts. But if you're a natural entrepreneur, I think you need some level of perspective, social awareness, social intelligence. There's definitely something in there that can't really be quantified. And I think that's a sort of nurture and nature ability.
Where do you think it came from? Like you talk about the nurture for you. Where did it come from?
I think I've always been quite commercially minded. So, you know, selling usual entrepreneurs, selling sweets in school. But I never really thought I'm going to be...
Car boots?
No, I never did.
Never did car boots?
Yeah, just... Honestly, the truth is, Mum used to buy me Kit Kats so that I could have more pocket money. Because I mean, she wasn't making millions. It was just about afford Kit Kats. So it just enabled me to go out and sell to make more, to then buy lunch for the week sort of thing. So that was kind of my first like commercial experience. And then I always did like things like various jobs and whatnot. I've always grafted. I got my first job when I was 15, glass collecting at a nightclub. So I've always known like hard work equates to good outcomes. And back in when I was younger, my dad used to wake up literally like 3 a.m, deliver milk in the morning. And I just used to be on the wagon like pretty much asleep in the morning. And then he'd be delivering dog food throughout. And this was on a weekend. My mum and dad weren't together, so I'd obviously go and see him on the weekend. Out delivering dog food for a little business that he never went anywhere, unfortunately. But just grafting all the time. So I think that was like my experience. And mum was a grafter as well. So that was like my experience of like work life. And then fortunately, when I got my first apprenticeship, I worked for a young lad, 26 at the time, and he was, business through and through. And I think it was just the perfect timing for me to kind of get influenced by the right person at the right time. And that just set me on this trajectory. And that I think comes down to I had that natural ability. I didn't know it was there. And I needed someone to unlock it for me to then reach that kind of potential that I was going after.
So like everything, that's your upbringing sounds so similar to mine. Like my mum and dad broke up, very working class. Dad was a lorry driver, absolute grafter, was out at 4 or 5 a.m, was back in time to take me to football. Mum was a grafter, was a PA for a family. My dad had a failed business. His was I say failed business. I don't actually know how much he did with it, because obviously you're a kid, you don't really understand. He did what do you call it when you used to put film on like window tinting?
Right. Yeah,
I remember him doing this for a little bit. But I've been asked that question before about where did it come from? And I look back and I go, I don't actually know. But maybe there's something in our specific upbringings there. The failed business from your dad, you see that. The grafting that your mum and your dad go through to give you your pocket money.
Yeah.
Like I remember my mum, like similar to you, would give you 50p in copper pennies. Like, and you just look back now and you think, like, God, she must have just given me everything that she had.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it comes down to that kind of not wanting, on the fear element that we spoke about, and not wanting to kind of live that or put your own kids through that kind of, not that it was, terrible upbringing, but it was still uncomfortable at times. I remember being at my dad's and go to the fridge, can I have a yogurt? No. Well, I'm thinking, it might be like 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm thinking, why can't I have a yogurt?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's like, you don't understand as a kid that actually yogurt is like tomorrow's lunch.
Yeah.
Or, you can't just have a yogurt because we can't afford for you to just have a yogurt. So there was, elements like that of
so true, that
scarcity. And I suppose that probably factors into the fear and the driving force behind that fear as well.
No, I totally agree. And I don't know, I don't want to get emotional on the podcast, but you look back, don't you, and you think, the more you talk, the more I think about, I grew up in a council house. I've seen pictures of me with damp on the wall, no wallpaper. But you're right, it was a great upbringing. Like, I regret nothing about my upbringing. My mum and my dad gave me everything. Okay, in hindsight, I didn't have the best things, but I didn't have the best trainers, but I had trainers.
Yeah.
And I joke now, my friends still give me a stick about it. I used to have remember the slip-on white Lonsdales?
Oh, yeah.
Absolute rascals they were.
Yeah.
Like no lace. So when you played football, you could get proper 99 power on them.
Yeah. You could ping a ball 60 yards at about 5 years old with them on.
I remember going on a holiday or whatever in these dapper Lonsdales, thinking that
your 3/4 lengths.
Honestly, that's what I did. Are they long shorts or short longs? Them ones. And obviously, you look back now and you think, I'm just so grateful to my parents for. Maybe I've never told them enough. I don't know. Maybe I've never told them enough. I went through a thing a few weeks ago where I was in the office and realised I'd never told my dad that I loved him. This is really deep, by the way, but I never told him I loved him. So I made a conscious effort of starting to send, because he's a man of few words, my dad. He's an old school man. And I started to send him some stuff on Instagram, just like how your dad was your hero and stuff. And he just responded, gay. So that's my dad in a nutshell. But yeah, I absolutely love everything that they've ever done for me, both of them. So hopefully one day I'll get to thank them properly.
I love it. Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
But yeah, going back to the neurodivergent thing, I think you're right. No one needs a label. I think every business owner has isms. I think we're built different. I think we're weird.
Yeah.
Like really weird.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that the more I've got into this, like now I'm finding when I'm in like a social setting, I'm vacant because the conversations aren't serving my purpose. And I find that really difficult. That's something that I'm going through personally at the moment with my missus. Like at weekend, I'm just vacant and that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But I really struggle with it. Do you experience the same?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you are there, but you're not really there. And I think, I'm really fortunate that the woman that I married has seen the growth and understands what the sacrifice is and knows that if she wants the life that we've got, and she chips in as well, big time. I think having someone that understands that I might not 100%, I'll be there, but I'm not fully there, massively helps me with that kind of home structure.
Yeah.
And, you know, don't get me wrong, like if I'm under a lot of stress, we bicker a lot because I'll be really short. And we had like a bit of a situation the other day, I'm sure she won't mind me saying that, you know, it was like, should I put the chicken in the freezer? And I'm like, you know, the jug's full. And I'm like, I don't fucking know if you put the chuck the chicken down the garden for all I fucking care. Like, and it, you know, you shouldn't have to do that.
It was just a straw that broke it.
Yeah. Because I've, you know, spinning a million things and different things going on and trying to process, you know, 50 things at once to make the best decision. And then to make a decision as simple as should I put the chicken in the freezer? It's just like, you know.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I've got bigger problems.
Yeah.
And you're right. Having that supportive person that knows that, I think is so important. And I've said this before. We're getting married in October, so I'm now going through my, like, you know, my wedding speeches and all that stuff. And I've been reflecting on her and our life together. And she's sacrificed her ambitions for mine. Because she looks after the kids and I work. Yeah. And that's for me. And she sold her business. She's recently exited a clothing brand. Oh, okay. But she's done that because she didn't have the time to do both. And I'm so grateful for that. But that's the reason I'll be a success, her and the kids. Because if I don't make it, it was all for nothing. Yeah. And having that, what's that quote? Behind every successful man is a strong woman. Yeah. I think it's really true.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Got a bit emotional this podcast, haven't
I know, mate. Getting a bit deep. But do you know what? It's the seasons of life, though, isn't it? You know, and I think you've got to create a perfect recipe to get to that end result. And it isn't just a one-man mission. It's a collective mission. You know, be it staff, family, friends, people you hang around with. It all matters and it all counts. And I think when, you know, and you'll, again, probably agree with this statement, like I'm a walking, sleeping, eating business machine. That's all I think about all day long, every day. The second I wake up to the second I go to sleep, it's just business. Yeah. And it's not that I'm like, I that's what I love. I just love that. Yeah. That is my life. And I think when you're that way inclined, you've got to make decisions and create environments that support that mentality and mindset. And I suppose, interestingly, back to fear. My fear is I'll never be able to switch that off. Yeah. And be able to slow down.
It's never enough.
And exactly that. Yeah. That's also another thing that I'm like, when will I ever be happy?
I think kids
in that regard.
Yeah, not to. Don't rush kids. Definitely don't rush kids. But that's what that does help with.
Okay,
because it really does
change perspective.
Yeah, because then you know that I used to think that, and I still do sometimes, but that then changes to, okay, once I have that, my goal is the kids. And you see it like with the Tyson Fury thing, don't you? When you reach the pinnacle, you just fall off. Yeah. And I think that's what the fear you're referring to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you've got kids, you know that they're your North Star. Everything you do is for them. And yes, there is ego in this. Of course there is. We don't want to do this to, there is ego. Let's just leave that one there. But yeah, for kids, man. Love family.
And dogs.
Dogs, yeah. Dogs are family.
Do it for the dog.
Oh, your dog's spoiled. I can tell, man. I can tell how spoiled it is.
He is spoiled.
Are you listening to any books or podcasts at the minute?
I read all the time, to be fair.
Read or listen?
Read.
Read?
Yeah. 10 pages a day, that's just my sort of non-negotiable.
Do you have those consistent habits? Like, do you do like the gratitude or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I am a creature of habit. Which doing this house refurb, as mentioned before we went live, it's just thrown my kind of, what do they call it? It's thrown the balance off a little bit. Yeah. So I'm desperate to get in the house so I can just get back to my routine, because I just hate, that's maybe the tism kicking in a bit. But yeah, my routine before bed is, you know, brush my teeth, blah, 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 get into bed, read 10 pages of self-help book, and then I'll read like a non-fiction, usually like a military book or something about World War II or something like that. And then I'll fall asleep after that. Nice. But at the minute I'm reading Don't Split the Difference, or Never Split the Difference, whichever it is.
Boss.
That's it. It's a good book. Recently, good books that I've read. I listened to the audio, but I reread the 50 Cent book, which is Hustle.
One. I did that one back end of last year.
Yeah. And
smart guy, innit?
very smart. Very, very smart.
The bit
yeah.
about Oprah got me, where he said something like, did he try and get on a talk show or something, and then said, well, if we can't be friends, can we be enemies then?
Yeah.
Because he knew that then generate thing, and then him and Oprah have become really good friends on the back of it, because Oprah didn't realise how smart he actually was.
Yeah. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's one of those that you read his book and you're like, I'm not doing enough, which it can 100%. Have a bit of a negative impact in some cases. But, and the same with 10X, Frank Cardone. I think he's a bit glorified in some respects, but that book, he kind of brings the best out of you. What else have I read recently? I mean, there's so many good books out there. I can't read them quick enough at the moment.
That's why I do audio, and I do it on 2X.
Trouble is, I switch off too easily. Really? I do. Yeah, I can't. And then I'll miss something, and then I'll be like, I have no idea what they're talking about now. That's the only trouble with audiobooks for me.
Really? I'm a slow reader. I'm a really slow reader, like to the point where like me and my missus will be reading like the kids' book at night, and she'll go, why are you reading so slow? I don't know. I'm just a slow reader, but then I'm a really quick listener. So I'm on 2X now, and I could probably go up more than that, but I might lose the focus if I do. So I'm on 2X, I might do it up. So I'm getting through twice as much. Going back to the hacking thing, the time hacking, and I might have been Sam I spoke to the time hacking about. I'm always looking at ways of hacking things. How do I do things quicker? Because I'm inherently lazy. Like how do I buying blocks instead of buy-to-lets, buying businesses instead of growing them? Those type of hacks. And for me, listening to a podcast or an audio book on 2X, I'm getting through twice as much content as what someone else is. I just think it's a great way of hacking time. I only realised that about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I prefer to read because I take it in more rather than listening. But I'm the same as you in that respect of time hacking. Like I'm the laziest hard worker you'll ever meet. Same. Like I'm always trying to figure out ways to do it quicker, smarter. But then the stupid thing with that is once I've done it quicker, smarter and set up the automation, I get bored and I'm like, fucking, what do I do now?
That's why we'll be a success, right? Because then you'll find the next thing.
Exactly.
Who was it who said, I would rather hire a lazy person over a hard worker any day?
I can't remember. I've not heard that one.
Dylan, what's that? Have a Google of that quote.
Bill Gates.
There you go. Oh, he's in the Epstein files. Oh, Jesus Christ. God, it sounds like I'm glorifying Bill Gates on this podcast. Jesus.
You've worked for the Illuminati.
Well, I tell you what, that'll come on to the quickfire questions. You hold that thought. But yeah, I mean, just finishing on the books and the podcast thing, I think anyone out there that's starting, any kids out there that are, starting to get on this journey, if you want to call it that, even though I hate the word, I just think spending £9 a month on Audible or Spotify or whatever it is.
You don't even need to spend money. You just get stuff free now.
YouTube's unbelievable.
I mean, I used to literally have, on SoundCloud, I used to have like sound bites of like Jim Rohn speaking or Bob Proctor or Will Smith before he ruined his career. And like literally, I just remember driving in, I had like a shitty Fiesta 04 plate. I had one of them like plug-in FM things you had to connect to your radio that's went in your fag burner thing. I used to just have that on repeat, just literally like mindset. I still didn't at that point know what I was doing, but I was just like, this has got to be the right thing. And just, it's stuff like that A, you forget that you even did, and B, that just kind of cultivates your mindset. And to the point where you don't really think about the way you think. It's just a sort of natural habit. But then you kind of get to the point which it kind of leans on that kind of process and growing and getting older. You kind of get to a point where everything's naturally comes to you, and then trying to find that extra, 1%, 2% that you're just constantly chasing as someone that's always a high achiever. It's maybe, and I'm thinking this introspectively now, maybe you're just chasing something that doesn't even exist because you're already at your optimum. I don't know.
I don't know about you, but I speak to, do you know, like people that maybe you went to school with or whatever, put you on a bit of a pedestal now. I don't know if you see that. You meet people that you used to knock about with or used to work with or whatever, and you feel like you're on a bit of a pedestal, and they think that you've made it or that you've got this power because you've been a success in quotation marks. And you speak to them and they're like, oh, I want to start a business. And you start asking them questions and you'll be like, they're like, can I can you help me, Ryan? Can I have a bit of your time? Like, yeah, of course, no problem. Do you think you can sniff those people out now that are going to be a success versus the ones that aren't in that initial conversation?
I think, so just going back one step, I don't really have that kind of interaction with people that I grew up anymore. Like my friendship group now is just completely brand new. But to answer that question, when people do approach me and say, you know, want to do this or want to do that, like I can tell straight away, instantly, whether they're actually going to go on to do something. And I think there is like an underlying aura, as they call it, you know, these Gen Zs. Yeah. I think there is definitely something there that you can spot. And sometimes, you know, I've got that wrong in the past when I've employed people and they've just not turned out to what I thought they would. But there's also a bit of a trip hazard in that, which is somebody that thinks they want to be successful, but doesn't actually have the ability or the qualities or the kind of audacity to follow up with that. And I feel sorry for that person because those two things not aligning must be a killer in terms of getting what they want from life. But I think, you can definitely spot. I mean, I say it to people all the time that in and around that young lads and women, I don't know why I said young lads, but both, mostly lads, because they always ask for other men for advice and women tend to go to women. And I say, you know, if I could buy shares in you, I genuinely would, because it's only ever going to go up. Yeah. And
it's great saying that.
Yeah. Someone said that to me when I was young, so I use that now.
Yeah. I think that for people have done that to me before, and, you know, just, you can't give your time to everyone, right? But I do want to help people.
Yeah.
So the way I've tried to get around that is say to them, go and read this book, or listen to this book, or listen to this podcast, come back to me with any questions. And you weed them out as well then.
Yeah.
Because I think only one person has ever then come back to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that person's then someone that's willing to put the effort in.
My kind of hurdle is like, if you want, like, I can give you a bit of advice, but if you want like real advice, then it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And to this day, not one person has taken me up on that offer.
Yeah, I agree.
And it isn't about paying for Scott's time. It's not about me making money.
I'll refund you afterwards.
Yeah. It's about, if we're going to sit down, I don't want you to waste my time.
Yeah.
Because if we sit down and you do nothing, you've wasted my time.
Yeah.
If we sit down and you go off and become successful, great use of my time. So to this date, no one's ever taken me up on that offer.
I had a guy that was, I'm not going to say because he'll probably listen to this. So we'll move on to the next bit, right?
Okay.
So thank you for joining us, Scott. We'll end with some of our quickfire questions.
No problem.
Most of them non-business related, going back to conspiracy theories and stuff.
Interesting.
I'll ask you a business related one first.
Okay.
If you could own any business in the world, what would it be and why?
Ooh, there's a potato tracking company.
A potato tracking company?
And they, I think, employ about 4 or 5 people.
Nice.
And they turn over millions because it's a regulation requirement. So any sort of packet of crisps that you get, any potatoes will have a barcode, and that is tracked from harvest to pack of crisps. And there's one company that owns that
Nice.
data.
Never heard that.
So that would be like, I'm living in Barbados. I ain't got to think about nothing.
You'll have to find us the name and I'll give it a read. What's your favourite quote?
Oh, I mean, I say it all the time, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, you can't connect them looking forwards. But my favourite quote of all time that I've absolutely lived by is, if you work hard at your job, you'll make a living. And if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. And that's Jim Rohn, that's the one that I used to listen to on repeat back in the day.
Oh, good one. And we'll finish with a non-business related one. If you could ask any question ever and get the answer to it, what would be your question?
Oh. I would ask. Oh, there's too many.
Well, say one and then we'll talk about the rest later.
It's not Epstein related, I swear.
We have had that today, haven't we?
How did the universe begin?
It's a great one, yeah. Yeah, that silence probably says something.
It's when I think about it too much, it just makes my head hurt.
Yeah, it does. I can't fathom how unintelligent we are as a species that we can't comprehend that space doesn't have an ending.
Mm-hmm. And how time actually moves and is perceived differently subject to where you are in the universe. So it could mean right now, somewhere in the universe, there's no universe. Mm-hmm. But here on Earth, time is relative, obviously theory of relativity. But if you get sucked into a black hole, time speeds up. But if you watch someone over the horizon, time slows down.
My head hurts.
It's just, yeah, I need to lie down there.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, Scott.
Pleasure.
Where can people find you if they want to get hold of you?
So if they want to look up the show, Property Developer Show, on any platform, domains, anything like that, if you just search Property Developer Show, will come up. Me personally, I'm Scott Lewis Williams, which is Scott Luis, like Luis Suarez. But my mum called me Lewis, didn't spell it in the right way. But yeah, Scott Lewis Williams on most platforms as well.
Amazing, mate. Thank you for joining us.
Top man. Cheers, Ryan.